you don't even have to see your friends whilst you play this game. That's right, it's D&D, but for people even more antisocial than regular D&D players. But of course, like D&D, that means that there are various systems which can be abused and completely and utterly devastated.
The Triple Threat Review presents Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition. A brutally honest collaborative review. Intro. When three critics walk into a tavern. Right, so we're doing this then. A collaborative review. How delightfully postmodern. I suppose next you'll want me to hold hands and sing Kumbaya while we discuss the finer points of Larian's magnum opus.
Oh, shut it, Yahtzee. At least Divinity doesn't have microtransactions and battle passes up the wazoo. Though knowing the state of modern gaming, I'm frankly shocked they didn't try to sell us each individual spell as DLC.
Okay. Listen up, people. We're here to talk about one of the greatest CRPGs ever made. Divinity Original Sin 2 has a 93 on Metacritic. IGN gave it a 96 and called it a masterpiece. Yes, and I'm sure IGN also thinks Fortnite is high art. Look, this is the 7th game in the Divinity series. 7th! Can you believe that? And this one scored the highest.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Yes, it's good, exceptional even. But let's dig into why, and more importantly, where it stumbles. Because unlike AAA publishers who can't take criticism without crying into their champagne, we're actually going to be honest here.
The good stuff. 5 reasons to lose your social life. 1. The combat system. Elemental chaos done right.
Let's start with the combat, shall we? Because this is where Divinity absolutely shines. The turn-based tactical system is deeper than the Mariana Trench and twice as dangerous.
Yes, it's like playing chess if the pieces could set each other on fire, electrocute themselves in puddles, and then slip on ice while covered in poison. The environmental interactions are positively pornographic in their complexity. Dude, the combinations! You can create blood pools, then electrify them. You can make it rain, freeze the ground, and watch enemies slip like they're auditioning for Disney on ice. You can turn poison clouds into explosive nightmares with a single fireball.
The status effects alone deserve a PhD dissertation. Stone armor doesn't just boost your physical armor, it prevents bleeding and burning because you're literally made of rock. Peace of Mind increases your stats and cures blindness and removes rage, because apparently becoming wise makes you less angry. Who knew? Therapy could be a spell.
And standing on high ground isn't just tactically advantageous, it increases your damage and range. It's like the game looked at XCOM and said, "That's adorable, but let me show you how it's done, dear." 2. Character customization. Be literally anyone. Okay, let me tell you about the roleplay potential here. You can be a human, elf, dwarf, undead, or a freaking lizard that breathes fire, and there's no class restrictions. Indeed, want to be a warrior who moonlights as a necromancer? Go ahead. Fancy a scholarly mage who can also pickpocket and stab people in the back? The game practically encourages it. It's like a character creation buffet, where the only limit is your imagination and your willingness to utterly break the game's balance.
The origin characters are particularly well done. Each one has their own storyline, motivations, and quest chains. Feigned, the undead scholar. Ifen, the guilt-ridden mercenary. These aren't just party members, they're fully realized characters with agency.
And the talents. Lone wolf for solo players. The leech talent turns you into a vampire who heals from blood. You can be a zombie that heals from poison but takes damage from normal healing. It's insane. And somehow, amidst all this chaos, the game manages to make each playthrough feel distinct. I've played as Guts from Berserk, and yes, someone's apparently recreated half the fantasy canon in this game, thanks to the modding community. 3. The quest design. Cooking up cannibalism.
Let's talk about quest design, because this is where Divinity truly flexes. Every quest feels meaningful, interconnected, and often delightfully dark.
Oh man, the missing Magister's quest. You're investigating where these guards disappeared to, and then you find out the cook at the tavern was killing them, cooking them, and feeding them to the customers. That's messed up. Ah yes, the old Sweeney Todd approach to reducing the guard population. The game's quest design is wonderfully twisted. There's no fetch quests for the sake of it. Everything ties back to the world, the lore, the overarching narrative.
And unlike so many open-world games that throw markers at you like confetti, Divinity respects your intelligence. Quests rarely hold your hand. You actually have to pay attention, explore, experiment. Imagine that, a game that trusts its players to have functioning brain cells.
Multiple solutions to most problems, too. Don't want to fight? Talk your way out. Can't pick the lock? Bash the door down. Stuck in a maze? Grow wings and fly over it. Or just teleport through if you're feeling cheeky.
The multiplayer, oh my god, the multiplayer! You can play the entire campaign with up to 4 friends, and it's not just tacked on, it's fully integrated. The co-op is genuinely special. Players can split up, pursue different objectives, even vote on dialogue choices. It creates these wonderful moments of emergent storytelling, where your friend is off stealing everything not nailed down while you're trying to have a serious conversation with an NPC.
Is basically a friendship stress test disguised as a fantasy RPG. Nothing quite says, I value our relationship, like watching your mate accidentally set you on fire during combat, or better yet, steal the quest reward you were about to pick up.
And the host can keep playing even when others aren't online. That's huge! No more waiting for everyone's schedule to align like you're planning a moon landing. And here's where Larian absolutely deserves praise. The modding support is outstanding. In an era where publishers lock down their games tighter than Fort Knox, Divinity embraces the modding community.
The workshop is positively brimming with content, quality of life improvements, new classes, expanded storylines, and of course the inevitable Thomas the Tank Engine replacements, because the internet is nothing if not predictable.
There's mods that let the AI control your companions. Combat tweaks, new campaigns. It's like getting free DLC forever. And you can see where they got their ideas for Baldur's Gate 3. This is how you build a lasting community, not through exploitative live service nonsense, but by giving players the tools to extend and enhance the experience themselves. Revolutionary concept, I know. The meh zone 5 things that make you go, 1. The armor system. Double the protection, double the tedium.
Right, let's address the elephants in the room, starting with the armor system. Physical and magical armor, 2 separate health bars that meet depleting before you can apply only meaningful status effects.
In theory, it adds tactical depth. In practice, it often means focus firing becomes mandatory. That beautiful build variety we praised, it evaporates when you realize splitting damage types makes every fight a slog. Yeah, you really need to specialize. Having a physical damage team or a magical damage team works, but mixing them? Good luck. Fights will take forever.
It's like the game looked at build diversity and said, yes, you can be anything you want, as long as what you want is to do one type of damage exclusively. Bit of a mixed message, that.
The stat bloat is real. By Act 3, you're dealing with numbers that would make an accountant weep.
I would have enjoyed it more if I could count past 10, but these numbers just keep getting bigger and bigger, like they're compensating for something. Before you know it, you're creating for damage values that look like phone numbers.
The game throws so many stats at you. Constitution, finesse, intelligence, wits, memory. And you need to track armor, resistances, initiative. It's a lot. And heaven forbid you're under-leveled for an area. 1 level difference can mean the difference between a challenging fight and getting absolutely demolished. It's less difficulty curve and more difficulty cliff.
Most of your meaningful skills are available early on. By mid-game, you're essentially playing with the same toolkit you had hours ago, just with bigger numbers attached.
This is where the game's classless system shows its cracks. Without meaningful progression gates, character development can feel stagnant. You're not unlocking exciting new abilities, you're just making the old ones hit harder. If you commit to one playstyle without branching out, combat gets repetitive. Same moves, same combos, same rotation for hours.
It's like eating the same gourmet meal every day. Yes, it's delicious, but by day 30, you're eyeing the menu desperately, hoping for literally anything different.
Here's a frustrating design choice. In co-op, you can only follow one origin character's storyline. That's right, all those beautifully crafted character arcs, you're getting one.
Wait, what? So if I'm playing with two friends, we pick one character's story and miss out on the others? That's super limiting.
Yes, it adds replayability, but it also means the co-op experience is inherently incomplete. In single player, you can recruit multiple origin characters and see their stories. In co-op, hope you picked the interesting one. It's a baffling limitation that punishes the very co-op experience the game otherwise handles so well.
The crafting system is simultaneously impressive and utterly impenetrable. You can combine up to 5 items to create something, probably. You can craft skill books by combining different schools, turn rain into a bloodstorm, make corpses explode, but good luck figuring out what combines with what without a wiki open.
The game doesn't exactly hold your hand here. You're left clicking random items together like a medieval scientist hoping you don't accidentally create mustard gas. It's trial and error without the helpful hints.
Rich and complex, yes. Intuitive and user-friendly, about as much as assembling IKEA furniture in the dark. The bad stuff. 5 things that grind our gears.
The bad stuff. 5 things that grind our gears. 1. Difficulty balance. The Goldilocks problem.
Let's talk about the elephant-sized problem, difficulty balance. This game has 2 modes, cakewalk and controller snapping frustration. There's precious little middle ground. The difficulty is all over the place. One fight you're steamrolling enemies, the next fight you're getting destroyed. There's no consistency. The action economy is particularly egregious. You get 2, maybe 3 actions per turn. Meanwhile, the enemy brings 8 friends who each get multiple actions. It's not strategy at that point. It's just watching the AI take 20 turns while you contemplate your life choices.
And unlike the first game, you can't level up attributes to increase actions per turn. You're stuck with what you've got, which makes fights feel less like tactical battles and more like trying to bail out the Titanic with a teaspoon.
And even on easy mode, it's ridiculously hard. I love a challenge. I'm a Soulsborne fan. But this is different. This is just punishing for the wrong reasons.
2. AI targeting, the laser-focused murder squad.
The enemy AI has been programmed with one directive: find whoever has the least armor and health, then murder them with the efficiency of a Terminator having a particularly bad day.
This completely invalidates traditional RPG roles. Tanks? Useless. The enemy doesn't care about your high armor. They'll just ignore you and beeline for the squishy mage. Healers? Pointless when everyone's getting one shot.
Everyone has to be DPS. Everyone. You can't have variety in your party because if someone isn't dealing damage, you're screwed. The fights take forever. And past Chapter 3, every enemy can teleport, so your carefully positioned mage, dead. First turn, every time. It's like playing chess against someone who can move their pieces anywhere they want. Hardly sporting.
Now let's address the campaign itself. It's not bad, let me be clear, but it's disappointingly timid and takes far too long to get going.
The story runs longer than a Lord of the Rings Extended Edition marathon, and with about as much payoff as watching paint dry in real time. The emotional beats land with all the impact of a wet sponge. The story tells you you're important, but it takes forever to actually feel important. The emotional connection is weak. Things happen, and you just go along with them.
The first game hooked you immediately. This one, you're waiting hours for that investment to kick in. By the time it does, you've already mentally checked out, or you're so deep you feel obligated to continue.
Even the big reveals feel underwhelming. Oh, Dallas's famed daughter, how?
We should tell the Godwoken the truth.
Yes, I agree. It is time we dropped our masks.
Dallas nods, then reaches for the sides of her head. Where there was one face, suddenly there are 4. She takes off the mask of the shapeshifter. A skull is revealed, bejeweled and ancient as the void.
I am eternal.
Surprise, surprise. Fear not, Godwoken. Dallas is on the side of all that is good. She is helping me rid Rivellon of the influence of the Source. Listen to her.
I shall tell you the tale as I told it to Lucian. Long ago, the scholar Fane discovered that the veil between the world and the void was made of Source. Our 7 lords desired this power.
Of course.
Silence, slave. Our king forbade the 7 to reach for this power, but they didn't listen. Instead, they rebelled and sent the king and his people into the void.
With the Source, they stole from the Veil. The 7 created the races so they would have worshippers.
During their lives, worshippers collect Source. When they die, the gods feed from them. It's an ingenious system.
Our souls are nothing but vats for the Source-hungry gods.
The 7 made a mistake. By taking its source, they tore a hole in the veil, and it is through this hole that the void finds its way into our world. I seek vengeance against the king and against the 7.
There is more, but she hesitates to share it. Then she decides that she must.
I was but a child when the war started. The king, in his fury, separated my family and scattered us across the world to be entombed. He did this because it was my father who gave the 7 the secret of the veil, against the king's explicit instructions. Ironically, the king's punishment is what saved me from the void. Only a very few Eternals escaped banishment. Myself, my mother, and Fane. Yes, Fane. You are my father.
Dallas gives you a steady look, cool and collected. This is your daughter. You are her father.
Your child rotted away in a tomb, just like you, father. Look at us. We are all that remains. And now, in my mother's name and my own, I take my revenge on the king and the 7. And to you, father, I offer the opportunity to atone for your sins. Did you even look for me, father?
Oh, nice. Anyway, time to loot this barrel. The game needed that click moment, that now I know what I'm here for revelation. It never quite delivers.
Okay, some of these quests are just unclear. You'll be stuck wondering what to do next with no indication of where to go. The journal entries are vague. There's a fine line between respecting player intelligence and just being obtuse. Divinity occasionally crosses that line and keeps walking. Some quests require such specific conditions or items that you'll never figure them out without external help.
I spent hours wandering Fort Joy like a particularly determined but utterly lost tourist. The game's philosophy of figure it out yourself is admirable until you realize you've been going in circles for 2 hours because you missed one crucial dialogue option.
The teleporting crocodiles in Fort Joy have become legendary for this reason. New players get absolutely destroyed and have no idea why. It's a baptism by fire, except you're also drowning and someone's hitting you with the baptismal font.
5. The Resource Crunch. Poverty Simulator. On normal difficulty, you're constantly broke, out of resurrection scrolls, and rationing health potions like they're liquid gold. Every battle victory feels pyrrhic when you've spent more on consumables than you looted.
Every battle is won by the skin of your teeth. Your party's half dead, you're burning through expensive resurrection scrolls, and you have to quick save constantly because one mistake means a party wipe.
This creates a perverse incentive to avoid exploration, the very thing the game is built around. You don't want to risk losing your hard-earned resources to an unexpected encounter, so you stick to the safe path. How thrilling.
It's not fun being punished for curiosity. Oh, you wanted to explore that interesting-looking area. Well, here's a fight that will drain all your resources and possibly kill you. Thanks for playing.
How it stacks up. Comparing it to the competition. Let's put this in perspective by comparing it to other titans of the CRPG genre, shall we? Compared to Baldur's Gate 3, which Larian made after this, you can see all the improvements they made. BG3 has better pacing, clearer quests, and a more engaging early story.
Yes, Baldur's Gate 3 is essentially Divinity but better in almost every way. It's like Larian took notes on everything that was slightly wonky here and fixed it. Character investment, narrative pacing, romantic options that don't feel tacked on. BG3 perfected the formula.
Against Pillars of Eternity, Divinity offers more interactive combat, but less cohesive storytelling. Pillars has that rich narrative depth, but Divinity's combat is simply more engaging moment to moment.
Pathfinder Rite of the Righteous has more build depth and crunch for the min-maxes, but it's also about as welcoming to newcomers as a bear trap convention. Divinity is far more accessible while still maintaining complexity.
And compared to the old-school CRPGs, like the original Baldur's Gate or Planescape Torment, this is way more accessible. You don't need a PhD in D&D to understand what's happening. Where Divinity truly excels is its environmental interactivity. No other CRPG lets you manipulate the battlefield quite like this. That's its unique selling point, and it's executed brilliantly when the difficulty doesn't get in the way.
Bonus round, random observations that didn't fit elsewhere.
Can we talk about the voice acting? It's fantastic. The narrator is incredible, really brings the world to life.
Indeed, the visuals are gorgeous too. Colorful when appropriate, moody and dark when needed. The art direction deserves credit for creating a world that feels distinct from the usual grim, dark fantasy fare.
The soundtrack is understated but effective. It knows when to swell dramatically and when to fade into the background. Proper atmospheric work. The pet pal talent. You can talk to animals, and they're hilarious. The writing for the animal dialogue is top tier.
Indeed, nothing quite like solving a murder mystery by interrogating a very judgmental cat. The humor, when it lands, is genuinely clever without being obnoxious.
The relationship system exists, but feels underbaked compared to, say, Mass Effect or Dragon Age. You get romance options, but they lack the depth you'd hope for in a game this size. I put 1,000 hours into this game, multiple playthroughs. You can really see where they got their ideas for Baldur's Gate 3. This was the testing ground. The definitive edition fixed many issues from the original release, which shows Larian's commitment, free updates and improvements post-launch. What a novel concept in this day and age.
Right, let's wrap this up. Divinity Original Sin 2 is a masterclass in tactical RPG combat and world building, hampered by difficulty spikes, pacing issues, and some questionable design choices. It's absolutely worth playing, especially with friends, but it's not the flawless masterpiece some claim.
It's a sprawling, ambitious CRPG that mostly succeeds despite itself. The combat is brilliant when it's not being frustratingly unbalanced. The story is engaging when it finally gets going. The character customization is deep when the armor system doesn't force you into rigid builds. I give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. Very good, occasionally great, sometimes infuriating.
Look, this game is fantastic. Yes, it has problems. The difficulty is wonky, the pacing could be better, and some design choices are questionable. But the highs are so high. The combat, when it clicks, is incredible. The co-op is amazing. The modding is extensive. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. It's one of the best CRPGs ever made, even with its flaws.
And I'll settle at 8.5 out of 10.
The issues are real, but the overall package is exceptional. It's a game that respects your intelligence, rewards creativity, and provides dozens of hours of quality gameplay. In an industry full of live service garbage and exploitative monetization, Divinity stands as a monument to what games can be when developers actually care.
Highly recommended, with caveats.
Well, that was exhausting. I need a drink and possibly therapy after reliving Fort Joy.
Remember, folks, demand better from your games. Support developers who actually give a damn, and for the love of all that's holy, save before every dialogue choice in this game.
If you pick this up, get some friends, grab some mods, and prepare to lose the next 100 hours of your life. It's worth it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go yell at my party for setting me on fire again.
That's what you get for standing in the poison cloud, you numpty.
And on that note, thank God for us, and thank God for Divinity Original Sin 2.